First hit.
I got eyes. He's right there by the windmill.
Shit, right. Ooh. He's dead. What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are back in Contractors Showdown Exfil Zone. This game has been such a treat. If you are unfamiliar with it, it is essentially Tarkov VR, and while I have been putting some time into it, I certainly haven't been grinding as hard as some of the sweats out there. But today I wanted to take you guys along as my journey in Exfil Zone continues, beginning with a few things that I learned. So here I am in the suburbs map, doing a PMC exfil, and I hear a player nearby, and I make an interesting new discovery.
No.
Come on, man. Come help me at least. If you're
I'm
not
trying,
gonna
bro.
come help-
There's still a scab on the rooftop, bro.
So the dude who was sitting on the
You died,
overpass
dude?
behind me actually died to a scav. I'm still in a pretty decent gunfight with some of the other scavs running around near the big center mall on suburbs. That's when this guy shows up. I hit him like 5 or 6 times as he's pushing towards me. Swap mags to a partial with just a couple rounds left in it, but figured that's probably enough to take him. Unfortunately, I didn't exactly bring the best ammo. Gun goes dry, go to my secondary. I've shot him quite a bit, and I'm hoping this is going to be enough to take him. The scav absolutely roasts me. You guys have to let me know, was that an ammo issue? Was that a boss? Like, what happened? Then I managed to convince some of the guys to jump into Exfil Zone with me, and this is actually some of the most fun I've had in VR in quite a long time. Like hardcore tactical PvP and PvE with the homies. It's like consequential, it's fun, the communication's insane. And we actually ended up later in this raid in straight up one of the best gunfights that I've ever been in PvP and VR.
Should be all right.
This was the first player kill that
right.
we managed to get as a team.
Above me, above me. What is it?
It's a player. I don't know if I killed him or not, though.
I heard him yell. He's dead.
Okay. Well, he's dead then. Yep, he's dead.
So after smoking this dude on the overpass, we push up the hill, and I set security while they drag the body over and loot this guy.
No way.
Well, let's see if this weapon's any better than the one I have.
Then we push into a motel
Yeah,
and start
bypass
looting that
bodies
area.
on it, bro. Jesus, dude.
Pretty good.
All right, let's clear through motel real quick. Food, water in here if we can. Shots?
Another dude.
Shot.
Right? No eyes.
Don't see it.
Rooftop.
Oh, he's hitting
Oh,
me.
dude.
Oh, I see him.
No idea. Also, neither of those mags had any ammo in them.
He's dead.
Dropped him.
All right.
So we push on into motel, and we go ahead and start looting the place pretty good, looking for food and water, bump into a few scavs on the way. We're making a ton of noise.
It's a scav gas station center. Across the way.
Oh my god.
How you doing up there?
I have no clue because I can't freaking climb.
Scav's dead.
Come on. Eat the
Probably
fucking
got him.
candy bar, dude.
Shots.
Whoa, shot.
It's right to your 12.
Eyes. It's a scav in the fucking parking lot.
After clearing the place out and looting, we decide to move
Let's
on.
continue movement.
And that's when things start to get a little bit weird, and we end up in the straight up most insane gunfight that I think I've ever experienced in VR. Not because it was particularly intense, but because the consequences were really high. Just watch this.
Anyone see it?
To our rear, I think.
Great contact.
Yep, got him. It's players at the apartments.
players at the apartments?
Yeah. Northwest. 330.
In the yellow apartments, like right there? Oh shit.
More
That's
players go in the fucking
Okay.
valley here on the
Alright,
tier 1
making a move. Let's bust out, guys. We got rocks right here. Head east. Scab in the open on the left.
Ah, shit.
You good? Get in the rocks. Get in the rocks. Get in the
I'm
rocks.
fucked.
Left arm's hit. If I die, there's a grenade in my
He broke
backpack.
contact. He broke contact.
What's crazy is this situation
sorry.
continues to deteriorate, and you can see me
Yeah,
start
we need to do the
panicking
same.
more and more.
You should pop that nade.
I managed to heal up, and then I go for my grenade here in just a second, but first I want to take some pain
Watch
pills
grenade.
because my arm at this point was blacked and useless. I didn't know if that would impact my throwing ability.
Do surgery.
We do get a good grenade off here, but the player who's over there is already maneuvering on us, and we don't even know it yet.
Really good, Fred.
Thank you. You said we had more players left by
Look
the apartment?
closely here.
Yep.
No eyes. Shit, right. I've got multiple. I need surgery when you're done. If we live through this.
I'm dead.
You're solo right
Where?
now. Left.
Left.
300.
Gotcha.
I have 4 dead limbs. One of them's my stomach. I'll stay alive as long as I can to keep you up.
At this point, Matt has already been killed by that player over there on the left, but that player keeps bouncing around and
They're
moving.
moving
I'm
left.
seriously
Coming out of
hurt.
Tier 255.
Looking.
Holding front.
Cry and I just managing to hold our own corners at this point. We don't even know how
I'm out of
many there
frags, by the
are.
way.
We've only seen one at a time, but it feels like there's more than one player.
Is it times 2? Are you alive?
Yeah, I'm up.
Footsteps close.
Yeah, he ran.
Both my arms
Which
are black.
direction?
That's why the gun is shaking so much.
Away
I can't
from
even
us,
hold it steady.
300. He's rotating left to right, I think, around the apartments.
Footstep close.
At this point, I don't want to move because I don't want him to hear us.
I'm all injured.
That's at me. That's from the north area.
Check. One player dead over here, unless this is Matt.
Be Matt. I didn't hit any of them.
How far?
I decided to try and rotate around to the other
close
side of
on
the
the
rocks
street.
and put a flank on these guys.
Peeking the other side. Get in cover, bro.
I am. He's looking behind us. Yeah, I'm dead. He was on the street moving.
Just then,
behind
my painkillers run out.
us.
Both my
Really bad
teammates are
fucking
dead.
gun sway.
I managed to pop a painkiller, grab the gun, and get back in the fight.
Shot
He's dead.
95.
He dead.
And managed to kill
How
him.
many
It
were
was
there?
one player, and
I
I
only saw
think
one
it
on
was
that
a
side. I'm
player
pretty sure it was
scav
two.
because he had an AK with a drum mag, and he was dressed like a scav. But at this point, I am hurting bad, so I'm taking meds off of everyone who has already been killed,
that's gonna be
chugging
surgery
water,
for you?
giving myself surgery, and really not sure if I'm going to be able to get out of here alive. It takes a lot of patching me up to get my limbs back into the fight. At this point, even now, my stomach's only at 1 health. I'm trying to bring my leg back up. Unfortunately, after I get the leg up, I expended the last of the
meds.
surgical tool and ran out of
of hope.
meds. My stomach
700
went black
meters
again
to
just
go.
a few
Do you guys
seconds
think I
later
make
because
it?
I didn't get it healed up in time.
I don't know, dude.
I'm hurt, I'm
something.
bleeding, I'm losing food and water. I can't really take
No, I
on
need
new
to do
food and
something.
water because my stomach is blacked.
Oh, I'm toast, guys. This
Just
is
trying
it.
to get to Exfil with
is
the
it.
rest of the kit.
I already healed. I've burned through 3 injectors. Wait. I didn't realize you had that. That might have saved me. I don't know. 600 meters is far. Oh, that's 500.
Yeah, that's probably it. Yep.
I'm losing health fast. I'm out of meds at this point,
shit.
and of course I run
You
into a
son of a
scav. But both my arms are blacked.
my
I
arms are
can't take
dead.
any hits. The gun's shaking all over
arms
the
are dead.
place.
He got him.
My arms are fucking not working. This is fucking ridiculous.
He's got to run for it, dude.
Oh, you're out of liquids now.
I'm out of liquids. There's no chance this scav has anything of value on it. Oh man. Go. 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 boy's not doing well. This is it. There's a gas station right there. No.
And that's it. Despite surviving the original gunfight, my wounds were too much. So this time I went back in and I learned another important lesson as a solo player, and that is karma seems to be a real thing in this game. So I'm going in solo, just looking to go grocery shopping, see a naked player. Great shot, if I might say so myself, but two-tap this guy, one shot hits him in the head, and that's game over for that dude. But just a few minutes later, in the very same raid, I'm pushing up the hill towards motel after crossing the street. After having shot up that scav and making some noise, I think I hear something over here, but I'm not certain, so I'm taking it a little bit slow. Yeah, karma's rough. Karma's rough. Ghost Delta, good kill, my man. So now feeling pretty sorry for myself, I decided to use my scav runs to learn a little bit more about the damn map so I can start running tasks over there. And this player scav opens up on me for no reason, and I'm pinned down. I can't reach my bag, but I think I need to get there to get my meds because I feel like I'm bleeding. Finally go over there. Turns out I'm not actually bleeding, but I'm just panicking at this point, trying to fix myself because he just blacked my legs and my stomach. But because a player scav engaged me, just kind of like in Tarkov, every scav on the map is now going after this guy. And I know he's holed up in this building. He probably thinks I'm dead at this point, but he's just getting swarmed by every scav. He's throwing grenades. They're pushing. I can't move very quick because both my legs are blacked out, but I decided to go ahead and push slowly towards him anyway because I figured it's a scav run. Screw this guy. I'm not letting him get out with whatever he's got. And all these other NPC scavs are helping me by pointing their guns where he's at through walls. So I'm queuing off of them. I know he's in this building somewhere. And I'm out for blood at this point because this dude just absolutely wrecked me for no reason whatsoever. Take a peek inside, hear the shots from my right, so I figured he's probably over that direction. Sure enough, he's upstairs. I see him.
Enemy!
Put a few rounds on him, but I don't know if any of them actually connect. I can't hold the gun very steady. They're really crappy irons on this stockless AK. So I move laterally along the external of the building, and I'm still listening to the shots. This is as fast as I can move because both my legs are blacked out. And it sounds like my boy up there went from his AK to a shotgun because he's probably out of ammo. He's still engaged with other scavs at this point. I hear footsteps to my left and the shotgun. There he is. Sweet, sweet revenge. So after knocking out a couple scav runs and kind of getting some of my kit back that I had lost in previous raids, I decided we're going to go accomplish some tasks, and we're going to do it with kind of a budget kit. Just an AK, or excuse me, just an MP5, a few mags, level 2 helmet, level 3 plates, and a couple mags, a little scav bag. And I'm just going to go in here, and the goal of this run was to get over to the Altabuy to recover Maggie's camera to complete that task. These AK rounds, or excuse me, these MP5 rounds, the 9mm just hit so soft, unfortunately, and I think I'm using PST ammo, so even against scavs, it's just not great. And I'm being mindful of my ammo throughout, so each time I expend a couple rounds from the mag and I get somewhere safe, I make sure to stock back up. And I spawn kind of like in the rear of the map, and I'm pushing through the center, trying to get over towards the Altabuy and looting as I move, even though I don't have a ton of room in my bag. In hindsight, probably would have been smarter just to push direct there and ignore some of this loot, since the objective of this raid really was just to complete that one task. But I do some kind of casual looting on the way over there. I do have enough sustainment in the way of food and water to spend some time in the raid. Decide to hit some of these suburb houses, and as I come across food, water, I just consume it right away, so I'm not burning the stuff that I brought in my backpack, which is why I'm enjoying this lovely frappuccino at a quick break. I do loot through the rest of this house. There is a good stash of medical supplies in the back, so I've got some more HP as well as another bandage. There's also a crate and stuff over there, but nothing super valuable besides the injector. I start back clearing on my way out of the house. Notice they do have a computer. Grab a stick of RAM, which is helpful. I still haven't found any GPUs in this game, but I'm hoping that's going to happen. Grab the computer components, and as I clear towards the exit, I hear this. It sounds like a scav died. It sounded like a rifle was engaging the scav, and it was reasonably close, though I don't know if it was close enough for me to see. I know I've got an SMG with this MP5 just shooting 9mm. A heads-up fight against a player with an AK or any other sort of rifle, as long as he has any sort of decent ammunition, isn't going to go my way. So I'm being pretty cautious here. I slowly peek outside, staying crouched and moving slowly so that my footsteps don't give me away. I go ahead and move this gap in the bushes, and I see a player moving right to left. And I figure, okay, solo player. I couldn't tell what kind of kit he has, but that's probably the guy that I heard. I might have the jump on him if I take him from this high ground up here, even with my MP5. So I spot him at range here and go for the shot. Turns out to be a duo. They start returning fire. My MP5 was useless at that range, even though I hit both of them 3, 4, 5 times. I mean, it's 9mm into armored players at that range. It's not going to do much, unfortunately. And so I decide I'm going to push and do a wide loop all the way around. I don't know how aggressive they're feeling, but at this point I'm a little bit concerned that I pissed off 2 pretty kitted dudes, and they may be coming for me. So as I maneuver on a really wide flank back behind the initial spawn, I restuff my magazines, and I'm trying to get to a position where I can observe the clinic that they ran into from a different angle that they're not going to suspect me of being at. And I cut quite a bit of this out. This was probably a 3 to 5 minute movement all the way around. And I think, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, they're probably just going to get bored. They might push to my last known position, but they'll probably end up just moving on. But I'm still being very cautious because I want to make sure I'm able to complete this task. I hit a little spot where I can get underneath this overhang, have some good cover and concealment, and top off on food and water. So I eat my chocolate bar, take a swig of water, before finally continuing to move on towards that objective. And at this point, remember, it really has been like 5 minutes since I took those initial shots on those dudes. But after eating some food and drinking some water, I go ahead and continue pushing towards that clinic so I can try to take a peek at the back of it and determine if I think they're still there or if they've moved on. I don't see any scavs on the way, and I don't want to get compromised because if they are still there, I don't want them to hear me coming from a different direction. So get up on these hedges, manage to peek over the top, see where I shot at them from over there to the right. They went into that building off to the front about the 285 at the clinic. I don't see any or hear anything over at my last position, and I don't see anything at the clinic, so I figure I'm going to move up to these stairs into some cover. And that's when these idiots pop out of the same building I watched them go into. There's one squirting to the left, the other's still in the doorway. We see each other at the same time, and now I'm in a 2v1. I make a break for cover. I took 1 round in the helmet, and I'm hurt. I hear him throw a grenade, so I know he's going into cover. The grenade does not kill me, and I manage to push out of the guy's field of view and going after his partner. Tack swapped, so I'm topped off in case this guy has a lot of armor. He has no idea I'm there. It takes an entire MP5 mag, but I get him down. Tack swap again. Unfortunately, I went to an empty mag, panic, throw the mag on the ground, finally get a full mag in there. This guy's now reporting to his buddy, I'm dead, he's on my body, and I know that communication is happening, so I'm trying to just get off the X and get somewhere where I can hide, because now that this dude kind of knows where I'm at, I know he's going to win a face-to-face gunfight with a rifle against my SMG. So I get in here and I just go quiet. I don't want my footsteps giving away my position, and again, now I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. 2 or 3 minutes elapse, and I'm still waiting to hear his partner over towards the body. But instead, I hear him engaged with a scav above me, and it sounds like he killed that scav pretty quickly. A few minutes go by. I'm hearing shotgun fire, return rifle fire. That shotgun's probably the scav. That rifle's definitely the player. And I use that engagement as an opportunity to beat feet and move another 100 meters or so into some cover and get even further away from the initial engagement. This time I go wide. I think at this point I'm far enough away that he's probably not able to hear my footsteps, and so I feel at least reasonably comfortable sprinting, knowing that I'm making a little bit of noise, but hoping I'm far enough away that he's not going to be able to see me. Get into another place of cover and concealment, and I'm finally at a place now where I feel comfortable that I can patch up my wounds, I can drink some water, and I can decide what my next move is going to be. Because after all this time, I still hadn't repaired my head, which he had initially hit me in that first opening salvo and exchange of fire. So get all topped off on HP, crush a bottle of water to get me back up close to 100 water, grab some chow, restore all of my energy as well, all the way back up to 100. And once that's done, I decide I'm going to go do some back clearance back towards where that initial fight actually took place, but not before topping off all of my magazines and making sure the mags that I do have are actually full of ammo, particularly since I dropped one on the ground in the fight. So I've got 2 mags, one's nearly full, one's completely full. I'm full on water, full on health, full on energy, and I start my back clearance back towards where the last player was previously heard. Here's that scab that he killed. That guy had a shotgun. I heard that earlier. And I managed to loop all the way back around towards the clinic. And I'm observing it, and I don't see any sign of that player. I didn't see a body. I didn't see any movement. I didn't hear any more gunfire after this point. And I'm thinking maybe he just went and recovered his buddy's stuff and left. Just to make sure, though, I run over to the dude that I killed. Turns out my man left his buddy's kit right here, and he had a nice AK with rails and shit on it, and he had great kit. So then I'm deciding, man, all right, so this dude was scared. He ran off the X instead of looting his buddy's kit. I upgrade my vest real quick. I grab this dude's kit, make sure that I have all my pouches in order, steal his AK, take all the pouches off of my old vest, throw it onto his backpack, and once that's all done, grab my MP5 and his rifle and beat feet off of the X to go reconsolidate somewhere else. Figure, okay, I'll go into the clinic. Maybe they didn't finish looting it, and I've got some places I can hide in here. This is a great spot, concealment-wise, just to get behind something and finish organizing the backpack that I stole off of this guy. So I take a few minutes and play some Tarkov Tetris, get the inventory organized, and then cross-load my backpack and all of its contents over into his bag. I also swap over to his AK. He's got decent ammo. He's got a great AK with awesome optics. He had 3 full mags and plenty of additional ammunition in his bag. And so all of a sudden, my MP5 is looking a heck of a lot less valuable than it was to me just a few minutes prior. Finished playing Tetris, and then once that was all said and done, I decided I was going to go ahead and loot through the rest of the clinic while I was here, see if they left anything of value behind, see if there's any trace of this other player who I had seen earlier. And I found, as I was looting through the clinic, there's a couple medical items that were still kind of in the area, but there wasn't much in the way of like really good loot. They had clearly found this figurine already and taken the figurine out of the box, so that was a bummer. They had taken a lot of the medical supplies, and most of the drawers were empty. So they had picked it pretty dry. I decided I was going to continue with my mission, because the whole point of this raid in the beginning was to get over to the Altabuy and to recover Maggie's camera. But now I had a decent rifle with which to clear out scavs on the way. And this was my first time getting the chance to use it, land a nice clean headshot on that scav at 100 meters plus, start moving closer to the Altabuy. And as long as my marksmanship is decent, the rifle seems to do its part just fine. I finally make it up to the Altabuy Hill. There's still a few more scavs in the area, and one scav in particular got me a little bit scared. At one second, I thought this was actually a player. I saw a little bit of movement over the IV line to my 12 o'clock, took a knee, popped up, determined it was in fact a scav, put a few rounds on him, killed the scav right there that I was shooting at, but there's one more deeper that I really can't see. He starts shooting at me a little bit. I can't see him. After he finally connects, I decide to make a move. Luckily, I was switched on enough here to grab my meds, top off on HP, so I didn't risk getting any ligament or any of my arms, legs, or any of my other organs blacked out from a scav, which would have been just insanely stupid. And I'm looking for this guy thinking, man, I just need to kill him so I can get inside. Sure enough, once he finally does expose himself, I'm able to kill him pretty quickly. And at this point, the Altabuy is mostly clear. At least I think it's clear. And I decide I'm going to go ahead and push in and try to complete my task. But first, making sure that gun is hot. I do a pretty quick but deliberate clear on the way in. At this point, I have gone through a lot of food and water, so I go ahead and top off as I encounter things. But I know the bathroom is in the back right corner, and I want to clear that direction. I'm not moving while I'm drinking water because I want both hands on my gun. As soon as I get that water in my belly, I continue clearance. Again, fast but deliberate, making sure I'm at least checking all these angles so there's not a rat like myself hiding in a corner somewhere ready to murder me. Finally make it to the bathroom, quickly find Maggie's camera in one of the stalls, throw that in my bag, and then I finish looting the Altabuy, looking for food and water so that it'll give me enough energy to get to the extract. My extract this time is over by the cinema. And I actually have a second task over by the cinema and the motel area, and that is to recover the chalice, like the golden chalice that's behind the big projector screen at the cinema itself. And so I want to make sure I've got enough food and enough water that I won't have to be consuming any more on my movement over there, so I can move pretty quickly. At this point, I've got a task item. I've got some pretty decent gear, and so when I start taking shots inside the altar buy, I'm like, nope, I don't want none of that. I don't know if it's a player, I don't know if it's a scav, but I don't want any of it, so I squirt out the back of it and start moving towards my last extract and last task. That dude startled me, though. Finally make it over towards the motel area, and I know that the task item I'm looking for is on that projector to the left. Don't know exactly where it's at, but I know it's supposed to be in that area. I do see one scav. Know I need to clear him out before I go and try to recover the chalice. At this point, we're almost there. Quickly go upstairs, immediately see the task item. And I could run straight for the extract here, but I'm thinking like, all right, there could be an extract camper. I don't want to get popped like in the open holding a task item in one hand. So instead, while I'm in cover back here behind this big structure, I'm going to take a knee real quick, take my bag out, put away the task item so that I am at least, I've got some insurance and some ability to shoot just in case I take contact while I'm sitting on the green smoke. Quickly take a peek around the corner, make sure there's no scavs or players that are watching it that I can see anyway. Run on over, slide in, and sure enough, while I'm waiting here, scavs start shooting at me. We end up trading a couple rounds on the way out. Get out successfully. 10 kills, one of those a player kill. Not a bad day at all. And sorry there, Pete. Good fight, my friend. Good fight. So head back to the hideout, turn in all of these tasks, and decide to go out yet again, this time on an even more challenging task. And that's because now we have to go to the office building for the very first time. I've never been to the office building before. It's over towards Motel, which is a busy area altogether. I'm also deciding to go back in with an MP5. It's just a great gun because it's lightweight and great against scavs, but if you encounter players, you're just toast. I mean, you're in serious trouble, or even scavs with decent armor. But for an inexpensive, just budget rifle to go cruising through a PMC extract with, it's not too bad. Because if you lose it, not the end of the world, and it does just fine clearing out scavs. Good rate of fire, decent DPS, just 0 pen, so if you encounter armor, you are absolutely in trouble. I do still need a hammer and a wrench, so I decided to clear through the auto area here, check the toolboxes and lockers and stuff like that. Unfortunately, while I did find some more MP5 ammo, which was obviously helpful, did not find the tools that I needed. But there was some general junk and stuff, so I grabbed that, tossed it in the bag, figured, you know what, I can sell it, or I might need it to upgrade my hideout at some point, so it's good to have. On the way out, encounter a scav at range, foolishly waste a bunch of ammo because I had the gun on auto instead of semi, run back into the auto body shop and take a moment to top off all of my magazines. I do hear some players engaged with scavs outside far away, but at this point, I'm thinking, all right, I can take my time, go ahead and make sure all my magazines are full, and then carefully move towards the office. At this point, I know that there's players off to my left somewhere, so route choice is really important. I need to try to avoid players and try to avoid as many scavs as I can, so I really do kind of take a more central push. That means less chance of players, but a much higher chance of scavs. I do have one scav engage me from down near the truck. This time, make sure that gun is on semi-automatic. I managed to pop that scav pretty quickly without much issue at all. Push past the Altabuy in the mall, and this area up here is actually really, really nice. You're a little bit exposed across the way to the other high ground, but you are protected against all the near threats, which is really nice. So I felt pretty safe. It was a decent spot to stop and make sure that that mag that I just used to take out that scav was topped off. So again here, I think I have 4 MP5 mags, and I still hear that same player off to the left, and now I'm also hearing shots off to the right. So I know that I'm kind of getting pinched by players on either side. The shots on the right sound suppressed. And as soon as I peek this corner, scav with a freaking shotgun immediately compromises me and starts engaging me. It takes me way too much time to put him down. That shotgun's really loud, so I know players could have heard it from a decent ways off. I'm out of loose ammunition at this point, but I do have that one magazine I took out of the locker at the auto body shop, so I decided to toss that on my kit and put this partial MP5 mag back in my backpack and continue pushing over towards the office space. Couple opportunities here to just pick up some trash loot on the way. I'm in a really unpopulated and kind of sparse area, so I feel kind of safe to be able to quickly stop and toss that in my bag. Get up, keep pushing kind of like that central route, and I love this spot. Later, whenever I've got some snipers and stuff unlocked, look at this. Perfect little depression, tons of observation and fields of fire, amazing cover, and you're screened from the rear. So I'm obsessed with this spot, and we'll definitely be coming back to try to snipe some nerds once I get some decent kit. I do have a Mosin, but I don't have a magnified optic, and I don't want to waste a Mosin without a magnified optic. This was the dumbest decision of the raid. Well, almost. Took some fall damage there. Put both my legs down in the 30s as far as HP is concerned, so I had to burn like half of an injector just to get them back up to snuff before pushing on towards the office. Once I was all healed up, again, staying generally kind of like on that center push, knowing there's a player somewhere on the left and then somewhere way over there to the right, moving cover to cover, concealment to concealment. Finally get over towards motel and the other little auto body shop that's right next to the motel. And at this point, I know there's players nearby, so where I would usually kind of like pop back around that corner, reload, make sure I have a topped off mag. Now I'm thinking I just need to get in these buildings, make sure it's clear, because I know that there's players nearby. Heard some shots. It sounded like scav shots, but I didn't feel as though they were directed right at me, so I couldn't really tell. I think it was, in fact, a scav who was shooting at me. I just couldn't see him. And he was over there on the other side of those planters, kind of in cover, and despite as much as I could do in the way of peeking, still couldn't get eyes on him. So I looted through the main structure here, just making sure there wasn't anything that I needed. Took a short break to eat and drink real quick before I exposed myself, having to go across the street and into the open at the office building. So that scav had some armor on, and it wasn't even particularly good armor, but again, I'm shooting that 9mm out of the MP5, and it just does less than nothing against armor. So took an entire mag to put the scav down, put a fresh mag in there, quickly healed myself up, because this is kind of like the most intense point of the raid, because I've got to expose myself, move across the street and into the office building. First time ever going in the office building, because it is a pretty high population area, and it's got great loot in it, but that means there's always players eager to get in here. I do take the AK off the scav because I was so disappointed with the penetration from my MP5. I figured I'll take an AK with soft point ammo. It should have some more kinetic energy, some more penetration than the MP5 that I was shooting. Go ahead and finally make it into the office building, and then I hear footsteps. And I'm feeling pretty freaking paranoid at this point. So I've got a decent peek right here. And I'm looking on either side of the filing cabinet, listening really, really careful, thinking that maybe one of those players that was pinching me earlier is actually pushing towards the office building. I could get up and move around, but I know he'll hear my footsteps if it truly is a player. And so I decided to just hold it out. And there's footsteps. I'm about to have a freaking panic attack because I've got a scav AK in my hands. I'm moving as slowly as I can so he can't hear me while I move.
Fucking just sitting in a corner. That's horrible.
Okay, so
Oh,
clearly
no.
my man was pretty upset that I ratted him from a corner, but at the same time, like, I had a scav gun, and I knew the ammo in it was trash, and if I took him face to face, I mean, he had this Gucci M4 with a laser and a great optic on it. He had level 4 armor, level 3 helmet. Like, my guy was pretty kitted, certainly kitted compared to me, which raises the question, like, I obviously had an advantage there, but it still took me something like 18 to 20 rounds to actually put him down. And I've watched it back in slow motion, and I've seen that the first like 4 or 5 rounds don't penetrate at all. They are hits, but they do not penetrate. And I was using the soft point ammo in that AK off of that scav. So yes, it's trash ammo, but at the same time, it's also 7.62 at point blank range. And I asked a few questions about this on social media, on Reddit, which was a mistake. Don't do that. And over on Twitter or X. And the consensus seems to be like this is a deliberate game design decision, that ammo penetration is real and you do have to grind to unlock new levels and get better ammo so that you can kill players. I don't love that decision personally because I don't have the time to invest in this game to ever grind to the extent that I'll have the best gear. I just won't. If I have good gear, it's because I'm taking it off of dead players. So it's much harder for me to get that stuff. And it sucks to know that players who have a ton of time to invest and can level up their traders and purchase better ammo will always have an inherent advantage over me, even in situations where I put myself in a position to win. And if you go back and you watch the encounter with this guy, he actually gets his gun on me and points it at me for a few seconds, but he's unable to get any rounds off for a reason we'll see momentarily. But if he was, he probably would have won that fight, even though I was in a superior position and played it better, while he came sprinting through a high population building, making a ton of noise without checking his corners. So anyway, I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts on that. I do manage to take all of the good stuff off of his kit, replace my own armor with him. And I hear a scav, and I decide, all right, man, I'm going to take the scav on the stairs, try out this Gucci new M4 that I just got. Check to make sure it's on full auto. It is. But the gun was at bolt lock. The only reason that I survived the encounter with the player earlier is because his gun was at bolt lock. That means he had fired an entire magazine, killing scavs and players before he encountered me, but he reloaded the gun without sending the bolt forward. And I was stupid, and I made sure I had a full mag in the gun and that it was on automatic, but I never checked to make sure that the bolt had actually been sent forward and that a round was chambered, and that almost got me killed by a scav. Fortunately, among the other items that player had on his person, whenever I killed him, was a ton of medical supplies and food and water. And so I used the opportunity to plus myself up on hit points, take out his suturing surgical tool, make sure that my leg was fully healed, take some painkillers, and also top off that leg after I had repaired it from surgery. And yeah, it's just crazy to think that had that dude had a round in the chamber when I got the drop on him and shot him 20 times, he probably would have killed me anyway, which is just insane to think. I'm glad it didn't go that way. You know, I don't feel bad for the guy. He didn't play it super great. But it is pretty crazy to think he should have killed me in our encounter, but didn't because his gun wasn't actually loaded. So I go ahead and make sure that I'm fully healed, and I loot through the rest of the office building. There's a ton of stuff in here. I found computer stuff, I found remotes, I found Christmas cookies, I found all sorts of stuff, but most importantly, I found this agent in their smartphone, which was the task item that I needed to recover while I was in on this raid, which started all that time ago with an MP5 and a dream. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty good because this is a pretty valuable run for a solo dude that came into a raid with an MP5. So we got all the task items we wanted. We're pushing over towards our extract. We actually have the same extract that we did in the last MP5 raid over behind the cinema. We're approaching it from the other side, but I still don't want to take my kit and my luck so far for granted, so I'm pretty deliberate in clearing out these scavs. Love the sound of that suppressor. This is the first suppressor I got in this game. I only recently got my trader up to level 2 to be able to purchase suppressors, but clearly beneficial for reducing recoil control and also reducing the sound signature so players can't hear you quite as well or localize the location of your shots. I'm hurting a little bit on 5.56 ammo at this point, and I did leave my MP5 behind because it was kind of the least valuable of the weapons that I had came across. I wanted the AK and the M4 instead. So I'm being a little bit mindful with respect to how I actually get to this extract. Certainly don't want to fall off the map, but also don't want to expose myself because I'm always wary that there could be players that are observing these extracts and just waiting for me to put myself in a vulnerable position and then shoot me. So I want to avoid that. So I take one last peek from my last cover and concealed position, slide when I can to save time and stamina, and then sprint all the way over to the smoke, making sure to look behind to make sure that there's no one over there staged at the cinema like I did last time. Some of the worst marksmanship I've ever used to knock out that final scav. And we do make it to the extract, and we do successfully end the raid with all of that Gucci kit and a task item in the backpack. Huge raid for me, 11 kills, one of those being the player, ton of items that came out with me. Certainly, you know, probably one of the more valuable raids that I have done so far this wipe. That one player that I killed, interestingly, of all the shots, it was the headshot that finally killed him, which makes sense because my armor or my ammo was not penetrating any of his body armor, and it didn't kill him until it hit him in the face, which is kind of wild. So we finally get back to the hideout and I start getting everything organized. I'm pretty pleased with my fancy new rifle. Start making sure I get the place organized as I intend, throw my chow where it's supposed to go, put all my medical supplies where it's supposed to go. I got some fancy Kit Kats, which is super handy and I think the best food in the game right now. I always hold on to miscellaneous stuff just in case I need to upgrade my hideout later. But one of the interesting features I came across is, check this out. If you find a smartphone in the game, like this task item that I needed, you can actually take pictures with it. And so I had a field day using this feature, just taking a bunch of super LARPy, silly, hilarious pictures before finally turning in the task, calling it a day. I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. I am still having a blast in Contractor Showdown Exfil Zone. Curious if you guys are still playing it now that the alpha is over. Are you still in it? Have you noticed longer queue times? And how do you feel about the ammo and armor system? Are you of a mind similar to me where you prefer that it was a more hardcore shooter rather than a hardcore game? Or do you appreciate the gamified mechanics that give you something to strive towards that gives you a distinct advantage over other players? Thank you guys for watching. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I invite you guys to do it now. If you want to be a supporter of the channel, certainly appreciate those of you who choose to become a channel member and love chatting with you guys over in Discord. I am Controlled Pairs. This has been Contractor Showdown Exfil Zone, and I will see you guys in the next one.